After playing Fall Guys, I wanted to see if there were any other unorthodox battle royale games I could find. Totally Accurate Battlegrounds describes itself as an over-the-top buggy parody of other battle royale games. Let's see if it's a hidden gem worthy of being the next big battle royale, or if it's just an unplayable circus of chaos. After making this abomination of a character, I decided to hop into some solo games, if I could. The server kicked me out 3 different times and it took restarting my game twice to fix it.
Come on, man!
Anyway, you and up to 50 other players battle it out in an ever-shrinking map until there's only one person left. Same premise as every other battle royale. But where Totally Accurate Battlegrounds differs is in its absurd amount of weapons and a few key mechanical differences that set it apart. The game itself is designed similarly to most other battle royale shooters in that you have your inventory where you manage all the items you pick up and equip things, but here your backpack is infinitely sized. The items are very similar to other games in the genre, with things like bandages, most of the attachments, and scopes. A lot of the weapons are similar too, with most of the shotguns, pistols, and automatic rifles feeling fairly standard. The biggest difference comes from the weapons that don't fall into that category. Whenever you find one of these, the game is flipped on its head. It goes from fairly generic battle royale to absurdist comedy shooter.
Gotcha, bitch!
Even the grenades are over the top, since none of them besides the smoke grenade are based in reality. They seem to have a lot of depth if used properly too, but I was often overwhelmed during gunfights and switching to a grenade wasn't really a conscious thought.
Loser.
Basically, I am noob. I wish more of the weapons were over the top because those were the most fun to use. The more standard feeling weapons just felt like I was playing a generic battle royale but with harder to aim weapons. Which, don't get me wrong, the weapon handling is part of this game's appeal, but it didn't have the same excitement as using something entirely unique. The game even encourages you to use the more traditional weapons as they're often more effective and reliable because they're easier to use. I spend almost all my time playing solo, but there's also 4-man squads if you want to play with a team. I preferred the single player as there isn't voice chat or a good pinging system, so you can't really convey what you want to do super well. If you have some friends in a Discord chat, you'd have a much better time with squads, as well as a significant advantage since you have the ability to talk to each other. The movement system is very forgiving and bouncy, so if you get into a close quarters fight, it's best to jump around and move so you don't get killed. The movement is further helped by the map design as the locations you can visit are pretty open feeling. And since there's no fall damage, you can jump off buildings without having to worry about killing yourself, which makes traversal between the buildings really easy and risk-free.
Bye, have a great time.
I'm okay.
The vehicles scattered around the map also help you get around to new areas, though you can't run people over for some reason.
What? What the fuck? How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I also found camping to be a bit less viable compared to other battle royales, as the ring moves in faster than others in the genre, leading to faster paced games overall. There's this item called Soul which helps reduce camping as well. You can spend Soul at these altars scattered around the map, which give you a buff between 2 different choices that you can pick from. Another key aspect that sets this game apart is the equipable blessings that also give you various buffs. You can have up to 3 blessings, and there are different rarity levels of each kind. Most blessings are passive, but a few you have to activate. Because the game is in early access, it still has an unfinished feel to it. I was trying to activate my blessings in one game and couldn't figure out how to do it because the ones that need to be activated don't tell you what to push. I figured it out eventually, and I'm sure the game will get more finished over time, but it's still important to note. Even though I would have liked to see more weapon variety, there's tons of weapons in general. Just looking around the shooting range, seeing all the different weapons and blessings is pretty overwhelming. It would take quite a while to figure out each weapon and how they all handle. The game's audio is pretty good overall, apart from the audio not panning correctly when you pick up items. Gunshots and other sound effects are fine, but when you pick up items, the audio stays in the location of where the item was, and not where you currently are. So I often thought there was another player nearby, when it was actually just the audio not panning properly. Apart from the blessings, dying is another part of this game that helps set itself apart. If you die early on in a match, instead of the game being over, you go do this minigame where you have to avoid obstacles and make it through to the other side. There's 3 levels to the minigame, and you want to try and get as far as possible, because if you make it through the first stage, you come back with a curse. If you make it through the second stage, you come back normally, and if you make it past the third and final stage, you come back with a random blessing. But regardless of how many stages you pass, you lose all your weapons and gear when you come back. After playing for 8 hours and one too many soft locks, I was pushed a little too far to continue playing and decided to be done with the game. For now. Despite its current issues, Totally Accurate Battlegrounds has tremendous potential with all of its weapons, intentional jankiness, and unique mechanics. It just doesn't quite live up to the potential I see for it right now. This is my first early access game I've reviewed, so I feel like I was a bit harsh on it. I just want this game to be great because it's so close, and most of the issues I had are because the game is unfinished. I went in thinking the game would be an intentionally unbalanced, over-the-top shooter, but came out of it thinking I'd barely scratched the surface to the depth this game has to offer. The game is surprisingly skillful for such a derpy-looking shooter. For people willing to sink in the time to learn all of these weapons and systems, the game would be very rewarding. It's just not in a polished enough state to be very accessible right now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. And let me know what your favorite Battle Royale game is down in the comments.